When someone disappears from a close-knit community, their absence resonates far beyond the individuals directly involved. The sense of mystery, fear, and helplessness that blankets a town after such an event can linger for years. But when two young people vanish together, the shock and unease only intensify, leaving communities to grapple with questions that have no answers. This was the case in Sparta, Tennessee, on the evening of April 3, 2000, when two teenagers, Jeremy Bechtel, 17, and Erin Foster, 18, disappeared seemingly into thin air. Their story would go unsolved for more than 2 decades, capturing the attention of a community, law enforcement, and ultimately a YouTube sensation who would finally crack the case. Lifelong friends, they attended White County High School and grew up in a small town where everyone knew each other. As seniors, they were counting down the final weeks of their high school careers and looking forward to the freedom and possibilities that awaited them. On that Monday night, they attended a party, likely one of many in the waning weeks before graduation, a moment for young people to celebrate, socialize, and enjoy adolescence. Bechtel briefly spoke to his father before they left in Foster's black 1988 Pontiac Grand Am around 10 p.m. Their disappearance sparked a decades-long search. Initially, their absence didn't cause alarm. Teenagers sometimes stayed out late, and families hoped their children would return home. But as hours passed, concern grew. By the following evening, the families reported their children missing to local authorities. Investigators searched their last known locations, the party area, and neighborhoods, but found no leads. Hope dimmed. In small towns, rumors spread quickly, filling the void left by a lack of information. Some speculated that the teens had run off together, seeking independence or adventure. But those who knew them dismissed this. Neither teen had ever been romantically involved, and there was no evidence to suggest they had planned such a drastic departure. They hadn't collected their final paychecks from part-time jobs, and they were well liked in their community, making a voluntary disappearance unlikely. Other theories circulated, touching on crime or foul play. Some suggested a robbery or carjacking gone wrong, or perhaps vengeance from a jealous ex-boyfriend. Yet as time passed, the trail grew cold, and the case faded from the headlines. Years turned into decades, and the families of Jeremy Bechtel and Erin Foster faced the cruel reality that their children had disappeared without a trace. Theories remained unproven, conjecture and lingering unease, the mystery of their vanishing settling like a shadow over the town of Sparta. The breakthrough, however, came in a way no one could have anticipated. In 2021, over 20 years after the teens' disappearance, White County Sheriff Steve Page reopened the case, determined to examine it with fresh eyes. He recognized that past investigations had overlooked key details, particularly the fact that the teens had returned to Erin Foster's home after the party. They had even driven her younger brother home, leaving witnesses who could verify their location at a critical time. Investigators had been focusing searches near the party site, entirely missing the area where the teens' final movements had actually occurred. Sheriff Page's renewed interest coincided with the growing prominence of YouTube channels dedicated to cold cases and underwater searches. One such figure was Jeremy Beau Sides, who ran the channel Exploring With Nug. Sides had gained recognition for using advanced sonar technology to locate submerged vehicles and solve decades-old mysteries. Though he had initially conducted searches near the party location, he had found nothing. With Sheriff Page providing specific guidance, Sides turned his attention to the waterways near Erin Foster's home, especially the Calfkiller River, a body of water notorious for its murky depths and low visibility. Sides' expertise and technology proved decisive. Using sonar equipment, he scanned the riverbed and detected an anomaly, a shape that resembled a car. The vehicle lay at a depth of approximately 12 feet, obscured by mud, algae, and sediment, nearly invisible to the naked eye. Donning diving gear, Sides descended into the murky waters and painstakingly cleared the debris from the car. Slowly, the silver lettering of Pontiac emerged, followed by the revelation of the license plate, which matched Erin Foster's black Grand Am. After 21 years, the missing teen's final resting place had been located. Authorities and families were immediately notified. The car was carefully retrieved from the river, and forensic teams began the solemn task of confirming the identities of those inside. Tests verified that the remains belonged to Jeremy Bechtel and Erin Foster, bringing a measure of closure to a mystery that had haunted a community for more than 2 decades. The families were able to lay their children to rest, ending a chapter of uncertainty, grief, and unanswered questions. Though the discovery brought relief, it also allowed investigators to reconstruct the tragic events of April 3, 2000. After leaving Erin's home, the teens had driven along Highway 84, which ran adjacent to the Calfkiller River. At the time, sections of the highway lacked guardrails, leaving the road perilously close to the water's edge. It was during this drive that Erin Foster lost control of the vehicle, sending it into the river. The Grand Am sank quickly, hidden from view by the river's constant murkiness and sediment, and the teens' bodies were concealed by the very waters that had claimed them. The site where the car rested was surprisingly shallow, barely deeper than a typical public swimming pool, but the river's opacity ensured that no one would spot the vehicle from the surface. The case resolution was bittersweet. Sheriff Page acknowledged the frustration and heartbreak of the prolonged search. He said, "We searched everywhere, but it was right under our noses. It's heartbreaking that it was so simple, and it was made so hard by rumors and horror stories." Jeremy Sides, a civilian who helped with the investigation, said he was humbled to have been able to assist. He admitted that the police did their best, but the case slipped through the cracks. The story of Jeremy Bechtel and Erin Foster highlights the vulnerability of young people and how ordinary life can take a tragic turn. They were driving home from a social gathering when they were gone, swallowed by circumstances no one could have predicted. The case also shows how technology, determination, and collaboration between law enforcement and private citizens can bring answers to families who have endured decades of uncertainty. For the small town of Sparta, the disappearance of Jeremy and Erin was a collective wound. Each anniversary of April 3rd carried memories of absence, questions, speculation, and unresolved grief. Yet, the discovery of their remains brought peace and closure, allowing the community to grieve, honor their memories, and finally put to rest a question that had haunted them for 21 years. If you found this story compelling, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to follow more in-depth, true crime narratives. As always, stay curious and stay safe.